Hello, welcome to today's edition of the Things Conference. Today we're going to tell you all about building LoRaWAN solutions at scale. My name is Wienke Giezeman, CEO and co-founder of the Things Industries. Here at the Things Industries, we help customers around the globe building LoRaWAN solutions. From cattle tracking in New Zealand to helping mining companies with their conveyor belts monitoring in Chile. LoRaWAN is cracking a lot of different nuts, and we see that we have a massively diverse customer ecosystem. We help German supermarkets with pest control and smart mousetraps. We help facility management companies in Japan with monitoring their HVAC systems. And we help thousands and thousands of quick service restaurants around the world with their temperature monitoring of their fridges. Together this year, with our customers, we will be connecting 1 million LoRaWAN devices across the world. Over the last 7 years, we have gained a massive amount of knowledge around building LoRaWAN networks and supporting them. We have embedded that in our LoRaWAN network server called the Things Stack. We host it through our cloud platform all across the world for our customers to make sure their IoT data keeps flowing and they keep the IoT operations and developer operation costs low. Our team is constantly improving the product, and we're releasing a new version seamlessly every 3 weeks. So we provide all the tools and all the systems you need to operate a LoRaWAN network so you can focus on your business and your IoT application. We easily integrate into any ERP, any low-code, no-code platform or cloud platform to make sure that the data is flowing into existing or new business applications that you have running for your operations or your business. We believe in an IoT world full of open standards, where you limit the vendor lock-in and you do not transition a majority of your IoT operations to a single IoT vendor. And history has shown that if you lock yourself into single IoT vendors, you can get into situations where you end up in not being able to scale or undesirable consequences. So please let me guide you through 4 use cases where we, from start sensor to cloud, guide you through the design choices and how these are built. So let's start with the hottest vertical in the market, smart building. Usually for smart building, installing a single LoRaWAN gateway is enough, and you can attach a multitude of sensors. Usually what you see is that, for instance, temperature, humidity, CO2, movement for occupancy, these kind of sensors are used, but also monitoring of HVAC systems or other existing systems in the building. If you look at our device repository, you will see that there's many sensors out there that can make your building smarter. And what we've made sure is that the data that is coming from the Things Stack into your application is normalized and harmonized. That means that you can have different sensors that actually look exactly the same to your IoT application or your ERP system. Especially now when hardware acquiring gets very hard through the component crisis, you'll see that it's very beneficial not to be locked into a single sensor vendor. Many of our smart building customers, they are using the Things Stack Cloud, mainly because it's the most cost-effective way of running a LoRaWAN network server, because you do not have to employ any IoT ops or developer operations to run the network server yourself. We have many customers that operate a large amount of buildings, resulting in a large amount of sensors that need to be provisioned or to be installed. Our tools allow you to do that very efficiently through mass import, also through scripting and the CLI and our APIs. For connecting gateways to the Things Stack, we support open standards, making sure that generic software talks through an open standard with a network server, making sure there's no lock-in between the gateway and the network server. After the Things Stack, the data is fed into many different systems. So if you look at smart building, it's very easy to integrate the Things Stack and the sensor data through webhooks or through the APIs into your existing building management system. So that wraps up a bit on all the features that we have to offer when you're trying to build a solution into the smart building vertical. So next up is smart metering. So the typical anatomy of a smart metering LoRaWAN solution is that you have several well-placed gateways across a city or across an area, and then you have a large amount of metering devices. So basically you can distinguish two types of metering devices. A retrofitting device, which is basically a module you put on an existing meter, or there's a completely new water or electricity or gas meter that's being installed with a LoRaWAN capability. What we see usually in that space is that security is very important. And what we offer is both secure key storage and provisioning, and as well as data sovereignty and making sure that the data that's being routed stays within the country or region of the smart metering area or company. Here we distinguish two things, the data routing and the keys. So the data routing can be configured in such a way that you install the things stack in the place that you want the data to be routed. If you talk about key storage, you can separate that from the data routing, and the root keys can be stored in an even more secure place in our new joint server. Next up, what's important is to make sure that you have full control of your network and full insights into the network operations. Therefore, we are launching the ThinkStack Network Operations Center, where you can have all the data and all the analysis of how your network is performing and be proactive on anything that happens in the network. Also, we see that our customers that build these large smart metering networks, they are eager to use these networks for not only smart metering, but also different use cases, like other smart city use cases, or maybe even STEM projects for the citizens. Therefore, we have enabled peering through the packet broker, which allows you to roam and peer with other LoRaWAN networks that are in that city or in that area, and also allow others to utilize your network. We have implemented all kinds of fine-grained controls to make sure you keep the quality of service that you have defined for your smart metering project, but the overcapacity can be utilized for all kinds of other different use cases. Smart metering is a very, very hot vertical in LoRaWAN space, and we see more and more large-scale smart city and smart metering use cases coming using our products and these features. So let's move out of the city into an industrial context. We have customers that use LoRaWAN and our LoRaWAN network server in an industrial environment. Usually, these are environments that maybe not so good of a backhaul connection or other kinds of limitations, either physically or maybe through compliance and regulations. What we offer for this segment is that the ThinkStack can also be installed on-premise, on the edge, or on the customer's data center. In that case, we provide extended support to make sure that the local DevOps and the IT ops of our customers are fully enabled to manage the entire network. This is typically very relevant if you look at all kinds of industries like oil and gas, mining, in the pharmaceutical sector. So the next vertical I would like to address is tracking using LoRaWAN. What we typically see is that the most desirable architecture and setup of a LoRaWAN network used for supply chain tracking is that on the points of presence, LoRaWAN gateways are installed. It means that if a sensor is attached to an asset, maybe a car, or maybe a large crate, or maybe a package, it's making sure there's a gateway on the different points of presence in the supply chain. So for instance, at a port, or in a distribution center, or in the retail store. This way, at the critical moments, the asset can check in and send its data over the LoRaWAN network. If you look at the device repository, there are many different trackers. One that just use plain GPS, but also trackers that use the new Semtech chip, the LR1110, which is fully supported in the ThinkStack and integrates well into the LoRa cloud, which is needed for the location resolving. Typically, our customers in logistics use the ThinkStack cloud. This is because they might have points of presence all across the world. And our platform allows you to manage multi-continent applications all across the world. When it's desired by our customers to enable peering and to make sure that if they have a tracked asset, They also want to utilize other networks. So for instance, with Digita in Finland, or maybe with other private networks all across the world, they can enable, through the packet broker, peering and make sure that if their assets goes all around the world and other networks receive data from your asset, it's forwarded to their application and their private network on the ThinkStack Cloud. The ThinkStack Cloud also implements smart algorithms, which is called adaptive data rate, to make sure that you optimize the battery usage of the tracker. And we also provide elaborate audit and infrastructure logs, making sure that you can comply to any service level or any rules that you committed to with regards to tracking your assets. So these are 4 examples on how you can design such a LoRaWAN solution that can operate at scale. With our products, it's not only easy to get from 0 to 1, so to create a solution, to prototype, but also after that directly scale it. Our services and product are all designed in a way that it can operate at hundreds of thousands of devices per project. I want to thank you very much for your attention. Next up is Johan. He will go into even more technical detail of all the different features I just described. Enjoy that and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.